Hello, hello, hello. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Those of you in the United States. Many of you are up right now because you don't have work tomorrow. Let's see who's on here. If you're on here, say hello, say where you're from. Ooh, on the borderline, yeah. Ooh, don't wanna be schizo this time. Thank you, Jen. Love that song. I can't, it's like I literally can't get it out of my head. I've been busy, really busy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Some great things are happening. It's been released already, but you know, I got some great opportunities. Sorry, my nose suddenly got itchy, but I had some great opportunities come. So it kind of takes a while to get, you know, all the business stuff of it straightened out. So that's the reason why my music hasn't been released, but the song is haunting. And I think, Brandy is the only right answer. Brandy's the only right answer, period. I do have thoughts about what happened that evening. And yes, you can ask me a question, but what I love about Borderline Jen is, you know, as haunting as it is, you know, it's so relatable. What I love about it is she's being so vulnerable. It's not that if you hurt me, I'm going to do this to you. She's just basically like, if you hurt me, you'll wreck me, you know? And that's just the end of that. And, you know, you can appreciate that. Everybody's not retaliatory, you know? I have a lot of thoughts on the battle. Okay, somebody had a question, but okay, so here are my thoughts on the battle. Okay, first of all, it wasn't a battle, right? Let's start with a few things. It wasn't a battle. It was an appreciation of two artists who really paved the way for a lot of other artists who came afterwards. You know, with regards to sound, marketing, all of that. You know, because Brandy and Monica are so close in age and came out around the same time, unfortunately, you know, there's this comparison that's not, first of all, you guys know I'm a better writer than I am speaker because I'm really trying to reach for big words and they're not coming. It's like they're, what is that called? An equivalent parallel or something like that. I can't even remember the word right now, but because it's late and my words are not coming to me, but it's a false parallel, right? That they're trying to draw between these two artists that are so, so different and really have been very different from the start, but really within 3 years, definitely within 5 years of their career. I mean, they were just this, you know? So unfortunately, they've been pitted against each other and put together, you know, and then there's all these stories that they don't like each other and all this stuff. So leading up to it, there was so much conversation of who was going to win the battle, and Monica fans, you know what I'm saying? They're like, Monica is better. And I actually heard a voice teacher say that Monica was better simply because her voice was clearer. And then, of course, you have Brandy fans who are just like, this is a joke, right? So let's, you know, first of all, like I said, it's a celebration of their music. They weren't there to really figure out who was the better singer, and they really weren't there to figure out who had the better catalog, because if you really look at their numbers, they really are neck and neck. I just don't even think they're in the same genre at this point. So I feel like it was kind of unfair. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Monica would have, I think what they did was amazing. You know what I'm saying? You look at it and they had 1.2 million views. They probably I think they had way more than that. Those numbers were way higher if you look at the people who came in and out. but they had a steady 1.2 million viewers. They had Kamala Harris on there. They raised so much money. It was the most successful Verzuz battle. That there was, but I feel like there are just some real empirical ways that we can measure how well, what makes a singer a good singer, right? And when you go to university, there are certain things that teachers are trying to teach you to get you to the point of being a good singer. And you can really use this to create the standard of what good singing sounds like, whether you're singing classical music or not. And one of those things is, breath support, vocal control, vocal agility, smoothness through register shifts. Yes, clarity of the voice is one of them. Resonance, right? Yeah, these are things we use to measure whether or not a singer is a good singer or not. And I think while Monica has an absolutely beautiful voice, absolutely beautiful tone, can she do runs? Absolutely. But Monica is sorry, but I feel like Brandy really loves Brandy. To me, especially from watching that Verzuz, I feel like I gained more insight into her personality than I've ever had before. And I feel like she's a band kid. Like she's a nerd, you know what I mean? Like she loves the art of singing. She loves putting music together. She's not the singer you call in to just sing the lead part and everything else in the track is done. Like she loves building music. I feel like she hears and enjoys music on a deeper level. And when you hear and enjoy music on a more microscopic level, you create music from a more microscopic level, from a more precise standpoint. And I think that's just what Brandy does. There's so much precision. There's so many teeny tiny details that make what she does so unique. I feel like Monica is a soul artist. And I think Brandy, at this point, I would call her experimental R&B, but I saw a meme where somebody said, Brandy is a genre. And I really feel like that, for some reason, that resonated with me. I think Brandy has really separated herself altogether from the rest of R&B. Like nobody in R&B does what she does. Brandy doesn't really have any contemporaries, Yeah, let's look at these comments and maybe I'll gain some more thoughts. Brandy, Monica, and Aaliyah. Yeah. Having a clear voice doesn't make you a better singer. Well, the whole thing is having a clearer voice. I mean, it should, right? It should make you a better singer. But when you think about, okay, so I think about growing up watching, I'm an 80s baby, so I'm a 90s kid. And so I was there when Whitney did the national anthem. I was there. I saw it in real time. And, the jaw. So, the jaw. And the rockets regular. So everybody thought, oh, to be a good singer, I need to move my jaw like this. Well, no. Whitney, the fact that her jaw shook like that, or even Wanye from Boyz II Men, so everyone was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They thought that was part of the run process, when really it was bad technique on their part, but they just sang well in spite of their bad technique, right? If they would have worked with a vocal teacher, that vocal teacher would have tried to undo those habits. So I said that to say, When someone sings really well, in spite of a vocal fault, in spite of the fact that maybe her chords don't meet the way that they should, and she still has that level of agility and she still has that level of control, and she's kind of doing it with a limp, if that makes sense, or with a handicap of the chords not coming together properly. We assume based on what we hear, we've never seen a scope of her chords, but you can assume based on what you hear, maybe her chords aren't meeting together. Monica's does. But she's still able to perform at such a high level that actually speaks to the level of talent that she has, right? I'm sorry, you guys can see this. Maybe I should move it out of the way. Yeah, I looked at Brandy and Monica and I was like, I am definitely Brandy in that scenario. And you had oh, thank you, Latoya. Okay, so here's the thing. I did a video on this on Instagram, and it was really impromptu, and I didn't really care for the video simply because my thoughts were kind of all over the place. Like I was sitting on the bed, I was eating some pie and custard, and I was just talking. And because I couldn't really find my words, I said to myself, oh, at a later date, I'll actually do it on YouTube once I get my thoughts together. And then somebody showed me yesterday that somebody ripped that video off of Instagram and put it on YouTube. And I was like, while I'm flattered, I would have loved the opportunity to put my content on YouTube myself, So yeah. I agree. Monica has an amazing voice and amazing tone, but Brandy is a singer kid. She loves music. That's her thing. Monica loves music too, of course, but she more so loves the art of it all. Yeah, Monica is just is a really emotive soloist, not to say she can't sing background or anything like that, but there's like my sister and I sing, and my sister and I are very different. I would consider myself the Brandy, my sister the Monica, in that, I decided to go to school for music where she just felt like that would just, suck all the soul and the joy out of music to actually study music at that level. Whereas for me, I found more joy in music, studying music at that level. So I just think it's really different approaches. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Brandy's riffs and runs are just, I mean, her voice is beautiful before she ever developed into who she is now. It's like how, her voice was so pretty. I am a vocal legend. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I knew that this is true. I knew every single song of Brandy's. And I think I pretty much knew, because I'm 37 and I think Monica's like 39 maybe, and Brandy's 41. So I grew up with them. And I think there might have been, in that 3 hours, there might have been 2 songs that I didn't know, and they were both Monica's. Yes, it's definitely not the sole qualifier. You're right, Aaron. Monica isn't better than Brandy because her voice is clearer and clarity does. Yes. Yes. I knew Brandy was a great singer, but when I saw her copy Monica's voice and singing tones, I knew she was the GOAT. I would compare Brandy to a caramelized sugar vocal, while Monica would be more of molasses. This is true. Yeah. That's nice. I like that. I like that, Jen. So you're saying Brandy is more of a caramelized sugar vocal, while Monica would be more molasses. Yeah, it has more depth, right? Her voice has a lot more depth. I can't even say it has more warmth, because Brandy's vocal is really warm. Um, Her tone just has a lot more color, I guess, because you can hear her tone more. They're just very different singers to me. Um, the song Trenches, I feel like she released, to be honest with you, there was like 3 songs that were played that I didn't know. I know she was like, oh, that was my new song, Trenches. I don't think I really care for it too much, to be honest with you. Yeah, it was amazing listening to Brandy sing her own music. The Hi Alan, she really, I saw something else online that said, Brandy enjoys Brandy the way we enjoy Brandy. Like you can tell Brandy is such a music fan. Like she literally feels it in her whole body. I'm sorry. Hi, Ruben. Hi, Mystic. Hi. Why do you think Monica's voice is so mature? I mean, at that point, that's just her. You know, some people just have that. Jasmine Sullivan was really, really mature at a young age. Some people just have it like that. I don't know if I can say, you know, I love it or not. I don't really remember it. But yeah, the other thing is, yeah, so Monica, when I talk about Monica, the reason why I've never done a vocal analysis on Monica is because deep down I want so badly to be her vocal teacher. I really, really do, because I feel like there are some lifelong habits that she has that I don't know if she's aware of, or she just thinks that's part of her technique, her color. And I would love to kind of expand her her vocal ability just by helping her become more aware of some habits that she has. And so one of them is the constant changes in placement, where she'll kind of get froggy at one point. And when I say froggy, the soft palate gets too low and it sounds like she's swallowing her sound. And then she gets really nasal, where it gets really, really bright at some point. Just depending on what she's trying to do, right? So that lack of consistency, it really equates to like a lack of discipline vocally, which would equate to a lack of skill. Not saying it's a lack of talent. It's just she either doesn't want to be consistent, or no one showed her. And so that skill isn't there of keeping that soft palate up so that the sound can be really consistent and really fluid. So maybe that rougher edged sound that she has, maybe that's part of her aesthetic and she doesn't want to fix that. But I think it would always be in any singer's best interest to fix technique issues, because you just don't even know the effect that it will have on your overall sound and on your overall pacing and your overall agility and your overall phrasing. It's just going to automatically improve all of those things. Yeah, I definitely left appreciating Brandy so much more. I felt like I got a, not that I didn't understand Monica, but Monica, I think her personality generally is really guarded. It's kind of like, I love who I love and like a no new friends type of a thing. Um, Whereas Brandy is just kind of like love and light, flower child, flowers, everybody, she's great. And I definitely see my personality more reflected in how Brandy is. I'm also interested in why Brandy feels like, well, she kept saying she doesn't have a falsetto. First of all, women don't have falsettos; they have head voice, right? And then after that, our auxiliary register is whistle tone. I'm confused as to why she feels like she doesn't have a head voice, because I feel like she did like she did like a high note in Borderline, and I don't know. I guess maybe she never did sing in head voice. Maybe her voice just kind of lowered. I would just love to develop her head voice, you know. Um, because she feels like her voice changed a lot with all my words are leaving me, and it's like a really basic word, but basically with being a teenager, I can't believe I can't remember the stupid word. Starts with an A. Adolescence. When she got through adolescence, she felt like her voice changed a lot. She kept talking about that. My voice was changing during this time. My voice was changing during this time. And I just wonder why. Like, I get it. Hormones do make your voice change, and your voice is at some point going to go from little girl to grown woman. But, you know, I know that her father was her vocal teacher, but I wonder if she ever went to a speech pathologist or got scoped or anything like that to really see why her voice was changing so dramatically after being, you know, after teenagehood. You know, I wonder why. I did like Still Standing. I did like Still Standing. But yeah, thanks for bringing up the soft, was it? Yeah, thanks for bringing up the soft palette, because when I hear Monica, that's all I keep hearing is the adjusting of the soft palette all the time. To me, Jasmine Sullivan is like a marriage of Monica and Brandy's voices with a little bit of Kimberly. I was gonna say I don't know if I would call it a marriage of Brandy and Monica, but I hear what you're saying. It's clearer. It's not as hoarse, right, as Brandy's voice. So it has clarity, but it also has the agility and just the crazy runs, right? And it has the power of Monica. I can see that, if not more so than Monica. Yeah, I think Monica has a lot of untapped potential. That's what I always hear when I hear her, untapped potential. Yeah. What I think of men who have a strong falsetto, like Maxwell, I think they're great. I think men that have a strong falsetto are great. I love it. Why do you personally think people perceive Monica as a superior singer as Brandy? I think it's just because she belts loud and sustained belts. Yeah, I do. Because I have friends that they just like, they don't get it. Like, they're not musicians, they're not singers. And because Brandy is so background vocal heavy, you know, she admitted like, oh, I have a secret. I love singing background more than I love singing lead. It's like, yeah, I think we can tell, sis. You know, she loves that. So her music isn't as straightforward. And I think people like things they can sing along to, right? If it sounds too difficult, like I literally sent somebody Kimberell one time and he was just like, I'm not even gonna listen to that because I'm never gonna be able to learn it. I'm never gonna be able to sing along to it. I mean, they're just so above my level. And I think with Brandy, part of it is that she's not loud. She doesn't have the typical R&B sound. So people might listen to that and just think it doesn't sound soulful to them. So they can't really connect to it. I think Monica is just very soulful. You're not trying to figure out what she's doing. She's not making you really learn any, you know, I don't want to say she's not making you learn anything while she's singing. I think Brandy is like a master class. Like, you're figuring out how she put all these pieces together to make this piece. Whereas some people, that's not the way they want to enjoy music. So I think that's why Monica is their pick, you know? Hold on. I thought she meant that her head voice was very weak. Yeah, she was basically saying her head voice was weak. Maybe Brandy needs to develop her head voice. Yeah, I'm wondering what happened there, why she feels like she just doesn't have a head voice at all. Brandy has always been harsh on herself, but definitely wrong in thinking because there are videos of her singing in head voice. Yeah. Yeah, Monica's vocals are great when they're arranged properly. Indeed, for sure. I always said Monica was our Christina. I get that. I can hear that, Andy. Andy and they. I would vote Brandy to introduce musical vocals to aliens. I don't think Brandy's voice maturation was as dramatic as she portrayed it. Yeah, she really made it seem like she was a little boy going through puberty. It was like she made it seem so dramatic. Like sis, you know, do you have hypothyroidism? Like, is there something happen? Because your voice shouldn't have gone through that many changes in your late teens, you know, based on what she was describing. Christina Aguilera has a nice voice. Brian Cox Brian Cox is the GOAT. Brian Cox makes everybody better. I agree. Brandy's vocal technique is like me trying to navigate through a maze. It's so intricate. Yeah. Why did Brandy make it a negative that her voice was transitioning? I don't know if she made it a negative thing. To me, it just sounded like she was just being very matter of fact. Like, hey, you know, I used to be able to sing that and I can't. Well, I think she was being self-conscious, right? Like, there are certain, she probably just listens to her records and is like, I can't do that no more. You know, I don't think she's being overly critical. I think she's just like, yeah, so we're going to have to approach music differently now because I don't have those money notes anymore, right? Like what David Foster calls money notes. And I remember my second voice teacher, you know, when I was learning all the super high notes in the 5th and 6th octave, he was like, yeah, those are the money notes. Those are the notes people pay to hear. We got to make sure they're great. Da, 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 da. And when you're in an industry where everybody has money notes, you know, you're with Deborah Cox and Tamia and Houston. Everybody's singing money notes, and you know, 17 years old, and your voice is just getting lower and lower. I can imagine that can be a little bit traumatizing. And keep talking to you guys. So I'm sorry. I've been here. I've been working. I work for Georgia State University, Perimeter College now. Just as a part-time instructor of voice, but I'm really excited because that was like the goal, right? And I never expected it to happen right after I graduated. So that just kind of added to my student load. Oh, by the way, I am also creating an online academy for, you know, so I'm going to have like online, like it's going to be like, you know, Berkeley online, how you can take like a 14-week class or an 18-week class to learn certain subjects. I'm creating that. So I am busy and I am thinking about my online family. I just need to actually get online more often and engage with you guys. Because I love coming on YouTube. I actually really do. I think I prefer doing lives rather than preparing videos. I have to figure out what works for me, you know? This works. Question. This is off topic, but why do you think they don't mention Maya? I don't think anybody really considered Maya to be that great of a singer. Aaliyah, I think Aaliyah was probably as good a singer as Monica, but Aaliyah's brand didn't really allow for her to sing that way. I think, you know, they figured out what her thing was and they stuck with that the whole way through. But yeah, Maya had great music. I don't think people thought of her as a great singer though. So that's probably why she's not in the conversation. And she only had a few hits. Somebody said she wasn't as successful. I don't think her career was long enough, I guess. She did some great things when you think of Creole, you know, Lady Marmalade, stuff like that. So she's definitely notable. You know, I think she had a good career. It just didn't last long enough, I guess, for whatever reason. You never know, like, what they were doing in the 90s and 2000s in the music industry. My lips feel so dry. You love my content. Thank you. Thank you, Honesty. Thank you so much. I'm a little young, so maybe I'm tweaking, but didn't Maya come out like 2 or 3 years after the first three? Yeah, Maya was definitely mid 90s. Well, Brandy was mid 90s. I feel like Maya was, yeah, she was in there probably 97 or something like that. But Maya wasn't like a singer. That's why. Like no one was giving her ballads, you know? She was like cool dance songs. I want to thank you guys for being on here watching. Let me see your questions. Ruben, I think a lack of vocal rest. Thank you. Hi, Mark. Maya's a good dancer. No, she's like a trained dancer. And she's beautiful. Vocals on For You I Will are really good. Yeah. Yeah, the vocals on For You I Will are great. And Angel of Mine. She has great songs. Who do you think could even be considered for a Beyonce versus? That's a great question. Destiny Child. I don't really know if Beyonce has any contemporaries. I don't know. Because she has the vocals of an R&B singer, but she just offers more than the typical R&B singer. She doesn't really have. You know what? I know a few years ago somebody was like, Beyonce's the new Michael Jackson, and you know, at first I was like, I reject that in Jesus' name. But you know what? When I look at it, that I feel like that at this point, if he were, let's say they were actually the same age, that would really be her only contemporary, you know, because they're kind of in the same lane as far as the versatility that they offer, that they can do pop, funk, R&B, and they can blend genres, bring genres together. They have a broad audience. And so there's not a lot of Black pop stars that really are R&B, funk dancers, big shows. I don't really think she has a contemporary either. Other than Michael Jackson. What makes Brandy's style so difficult? I mean, take a moment and, you know, listen to the Full Moon album. And I don't know if you're a singer, but try to sing through it. Just pick one song and just sing through it the whole way and do exactly what she did. And then pick a song of whatever, you know, Monica came out with in 2001 and sing through that the whole way. And then you can decide which one was more difficult. You know? Brandy's just so creative in how she approaches her vocal. Like, I don't even know what else to say other than that. Or better yet, I mean, Brandy sings all her background vocals. Try to pick out her background vocals. Just pick them all out. And then go to a Monica song and pick all those out and see which one you spent all day trying to pick out her background vocals. She comes with a level of musical complexity and vocal complexity. It's not just musical complexity, not just harmonic complexity, but she does things that are hard to duplicate vocally. You really have to be paying attention, and you have to be really advanced to even replicate what she's done. So sometimes it's that you can hear it, but your voice just can't do what she did because she does things so quickly. I wouldn't, well, I wouldn't say Beyonce and Rihanna. But I guess if you're talking about living singers, I guess they're both pop artists. But I still think Beyonce has I could be wrong, but I think Beyonce just has a different kind of a reach than Rihanna does. Sure. That would be kind of dope. Yeah, I think Mariah as well. I don't think Mariah has any contemporaries. I think her contemporary is in the grave. Whitney was her only contemporary. You missed my analysis videos. Well, enjoy this one, okay? This is kind of an analysis, so yeah. There's a lot of great singers, but there's not a lot of singers that have great musicianship. This is very true. That's what I'm saying. Like Brandy, to me, what I walked away with is she's like that band kid, you know. I tried to sing nothing. You sounded like a roach. See? Nothing without you, baby. Nothing. Drive me crazy. Nothing. I don't know that song. Delisa, in your opinion, what do you think happened to Mariah Carey's voice? Somebody, didn't you ask me that already? I don't know. You guys are such researchers. I have never gone into depth as to pinpoint what happened in the year 1997 to Mariah's voice. Is that the year that she started whispering? From great to good. That's so funny, Andy. I can't. And you know why? I can't because I haven't heard the full Human or 211. Like I haven't fully like listened to them. I know pieces of those albums, but not the full breadth of them. But from what I hear, Human was probably one of her best albums next to Full Moon. That's hard. I don't even think you could do it from great to good because I feel like she always gave us her best. And I feel like with every record, she really didn't leave a stone unturned. Like whatever she did, it was the highest. It was done at the highest potential. You know what I'm saying? Highest possible, you know, exploitation of whatever that idea was. She did it. Babe versus Janet. That could work. That could work. Definitely. That could work. Love that. I love that. Celine Dion is the only reason I would say no is because I don't think they have the same audience. When you think of someone who's a contemporary, you think of people that like they have the same audience, you know? That's what I think of. Yeah. Because when they did Buju Banton and Beanie Man, they have the same audience. How important is ear training for someone with a already decent ear? Ear training is only going to make you great. You know, at whatever level you are, the more intricately you can hear, the better musicianship you bring to any and every singing situation. It just makes you more valuable. It makes it easier to learn songs, easier to teach songs, easier to figure out what's wrong in the song, easier to put something right in a song. So it really depends on your level of dedication and what level of musicianship you want to perform at. You know, how much do you want done for you versus how much do you want to control yourself? If you always want to be told what to do, given your music, this and that, then you would leave that to somebody else. But if you want to have a certain level of control and a certain level of input, then you have to take that personal responsibility to develop that. That will bang in your car truck before you drive to say thank you for coming. So humble. Gen Z, yes. Brandy is so adorable. Her personality is just, she's just so happy to be here. Why is Up on Top such a hard song to sing? Because it's high. It's ridiculously high. Have you tried to sing it? You sing it and then come back and tell me how you felt. Or better yet, when you dropped out. I do love you guys. I'm trying. I really would have done it all at the same time, but I hate doing YouTube and Instagram at the same time because then I'm divided between two screens. If I play it, then YouTube is going to be weird about this video. So I'd rather not play Mariah Carey's music to hear exactly what you're talking about. How do I feel about, I don't think I listened to them enough to have an opinion on their vocal ability, an opinion on Halle and Chloe's vocal ability. I feel like any technique video I have is about strengthening your head voice because I feel like that's what a lot of my training revolves around. I think Summer Walker's voice is pretty. Justin Timberlake is overrated to me. I love his song with Beyonce as well. Plus, I think Verzuz was specifically made to appreciate Black artists. Bloop. Patty and Shaka. That would be a loud battle. So funny. Anita and Tony. What does it mean if I can't sing, but I could fully understand and appreciate Brandy's vocals? I got an ear okay sound, but I'm tone deaf when I'm singing. It's my ears bipolar. That is so funny. You just need to practice vocal control. That's hilarious. Shantae, I'd say no, Kareem. Who would I put Shantae more with? Tamia. That would be like such a soothing, fun versus Shantae Moore and Tamia. Okay, my voice is giving out. I'm being bougie. I have Fiji water this week. But my voice is giving out, so I'm gonna go now. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, look out for more stuff. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for watching. I love this conversation. As always, you guys are fun. And hopefully I will be back next Sunday.